Well, if nothing else, it's a learning experience, right? Hey everyone, welcome back to CM Fab. I'm Chris. This is my 1981 Toyota Racetruck. This episode, we are going to go ahead and start putting together our exhaust manifold out of stainless this time. No more plastic, I think. You're going to watch me butcher some welding and not back purge and weld the wrong pieces to the wrong pieces because I used the wrong template to weld the things to the things. Actually, this is the beginning of the episode, so none of that's happened yet. Things are going to go perfect. I'm going to weld it perfect the right time, the first time. It's all going to get done in this episode. I'm not going to quit halfway through and just produce this episode just to get content out. That's what's going to happen. Stay tuned. So I got all my steel in to make this manifold, and I came out here to go ahead and start transferring the plastic to the stainless. And I noticed all these pieces on the floor. Well, it turns out that tape did not do the trick, and they all fell off. They kind of went everywhere. They scattered. So I'm going to go ahead and throw them all back on there real quick, and then start taking our stainless and transferring the design over to this. And hopefully it comes out, or hopefully it goes pretty smooth. We'll see. All right, so it's been a few days since I've been out in the shop. I started getting a little bit frustrated because I could not figure out how to transfer any of my template to the stainless without, or getting the most accurate way I could. And I couldn't figure it out. I held them up next to each other and tried to trace the line over. That didn't work. I tried to just eyeball marking it in the halfway points and the quarter points, but that didn't work. So I took a break and I started doing stuff on the house to hopefully get it ready to sell. Not that you guys care about that, but took a break from the manifold for a second and thought, hey, I have a 3D printer, so why not print some of this like pie cut template type thing. This one is made by someone, I cannot remember their name. Hopefully I remember to put their link in the comment. I did pay like $4 for the design, and it gave you a couple different center line radiuses, so hopefully it comes in handy for other stuff that I do. And it's a pretty neat tool. You can line up your bend in there and then either mark it, or you can actually throw this in a bandsaw and cut it. However, I think my tubing is just a little bit different because when I went to put my stainless in there, it did not really line up that well. So you can see there's some gaps in there. And even if I clamp it down in there and like put vice grips or something on there, it still didn't really fit too well. So I did my best to use this as a marker for center line. And you can see like on here, maybe you can see that I marked kind of the center of the backbone of that tube. And then I just went over to the bandsaw and eyeballed it. So I just took it over here. And for some reason, I forgot to get any of this on time lapse for the first one I did, probably because I was trying to think. So I come over here and I would just line it up and push on the bandsaw, almost cutting off my thumbs every time. And then that actually worked out pretty good to cut the tubes in half. So I had two 45s basically. And you can see here I did it a couple times, cut some of them in half and then some of them into quarters. That way I could match at least closer to the sections here. And then with that mark that I made down the backbone, I used the kind of tick marks you can see here and lined them up. So I just measured from this line to this line, and it was about 8 millimeters, same here to here. And then I did that over here. So you can see the line going down it. I just made sure they were about the same distance. Now, if none of this makes sense, I'll try to remember to actually time lapse it or record it next time, because what's the point of making a YouTube if I'm not recording what I'm doing, right? Anyways, so I started doing that. This is the first runner that I started, and it came out pretty good. Again, I forgot to record it on there, and then you can see the blue tape's not holding nearly as well as it should have, again. So I'm going to throw that back together, probably with the same exact blue tape that keeps failing me, because I never learn. And then I'll do another test fit to see if it fits. If you're ever going to do something like this, make sure you mark them so that when your blue tape fails, you can put them back together the exact way they were. I learned that on this one. You can see my marks there that hopefully I can line back up. Anyways, that's enough rambling. I'm going to go ahead and start doing the rest of these. Hopefully knock at least something out. All right, so like 2 seconds have passed since I said I wasn't going to ramble anymore. And you can see I salvaged some of that blue tape, and you can see here it fits up okay. This top piece I think needs to be sanded down just a little bit, and then the bottom piece I think I just need to add a straight on. I think that one would be pretty good. Again, I need to clean them all up again on the belt sander, because you can see there's little gaps in here. So I'm going to try and do that before messing with the two ends. That way, if it brings the bend to a different angle or something like that. All right, so what you saw in that last time lapse was me spending about 2 hours trying to get this tube as best as I could to fit in this area right here. It didn't come out that great, especially this area. If I could focus right here, you can see I tacked it and it just didn't tack sometimes, and I blew through the tube. So I'm going to treat this piece like a practice piece for now. If it comes out or if I can fix it, then we'll keep it. If not, I have plenty of tube to remake it. That's why I did the shortest one first. You can see here it fits pretty decent. A lot of back and forth on the grinders you probably saw. So what I'm going to do now is fully weld this one out. That way, when I go to fit it for the last time in here, I know it won't move again. That was a big problem I was having when I was over here on the bench. If you guys saw that, I was trying all different ways to get it to hold while I was tacking it, because it kept opening and creating bigger and bigger gaps. Some of them are pretty close, like this. There's no gap. There's no gap. But some of these other ones up here, there's a couple little gaps. But again, I'll just treat it like practice, so that way when I work on the other ones, the ones that are a little bit more visible, hopefully they'll be a little bit better. And if I am able to fix it, like some of these little guys right there, well then at least they're underneath, so they'll never be seen. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and swap out my regulator over there for a dual one. That way I can back purge this tube. That way I don't get the little crystals in there. The last time I welded stainless, I didn't do it because it was exhaust. But this time, since it's in front of the turbo, I don't want any of that stuff to go through the turbo and potentially damage it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then start welding on that guy. And then I don't know how much more I'm going to do in this video because it's been like a month since I put one out. And all I've got done is that thing. So anyways, I'm going to get after it and stop rambling. All right, as you probably guessed, since I'm already set up to weld, swapped out the regulator. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Dual regulator so I could run my hose of argon into the piece. And hopefully it won't crystallize on the inside and won't get any little bits of crud in the turbo. Probably still will because I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll figure it out together. Or at least I'll figure it out and then you guys can laugh. Don't know how well these plastic caps are going to work, but they came with the tube, so if they start to melt, well then I guess I'll stop. Here goes nothing. Well, that plastic ain't holding. You can see it's already it's already kind of blowed out and not sticking. So gotta go get some aluminum foil. Oh, that's gonna be gross. Oops. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna wait till that cools down. I'm gonna go eat some food, play Magnetiles, and then come back out, wire wheel that up so that the plastic isn't gross. Clean it up again. All right, so I finally got this number 2 runner fully welded, at least the actual curves. The straight's not fully welded yet, but that's because I goofed. I done goofed. I kind of welded this in the wrong order. I don't know exactly how it happened. If I just didn't look at my pictures or my reference stuff well enough. But if you can see, it looks pretty similar here. The angles of that top tube are a little off. This one points up more. This one points down that way more. And I'll tell you why that's important. So when we come over here and we hold up our plastic piece, you can see where I'm holding it. And it goes into this upper collector pretty good. And then it aims at that number 2 runner just about perfectly. And then when I throw this one on there, you can see it's almost perfect there, but it's not on the right spot on the collector. Not sure exactly how I did that other than just, again, not looking at my reference material. That would actually be perfect for that collector. It's almost perfect. The gap on the bottom is a little big, but then that leaves nowhere for my number 3 to go. So I did all this welding, and I kept telling you guys like halfway through that it was going to be practice just because my welds, you can see here, some of them are pretty gross. It's not very cleaned up. But I kept saying it's going to be a practice piece. It's going to be a practice piece. And it turns out that it's going to be a practice piece. So it still probably could fit if I flip it the way it was supposed to be. But now you can see that bottom curve down there going into the collector is just not even close. I was not at the right angle. I was thinking I could just throw a straight piece on there, but that won't work. And then obviously the big gap here, I'd have to add another straight. So this, for now, will just be a test piece to get used to welding on this. I think it's 16 gauge stainless. I also started welding it without back purging it. You can see in there kind of the crystallization. Focusing. So some of it didn't get back purged too well, and then the rest of it, I don't know if you can see that too well down there. It's perfectly fine. I'll use this as my test piece, and then when I go to do the rest of all this plastic stuff and turn it into stainless, hopefully I learn my lesson. All right, y'all, that is going to do it for this one. Did not get nearly as much done on the exhaust manifold as I wanted to. Waiting for parts, waiting for tools, and then just kind of losing track of what I was doing, not marking my templates. It's been kind of a learning experience. So hopefully you guys learned something from this one, like back purging your stuff, marking your templates, and then I don't know what the third one would be. Just don't be dumb, I guess. Anyways, hopefully in the next video we will get much more forward progress done, and then we can actually move on to something else, like some suspension stuff down here. Anyways, do all the YouTubey things. I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll see you in the next one. You coming, bud? Hey. All right. All right, y'all. That's going to be it for this one. Okay. I got boogers on me. Hey. Hey, buttheads. What are you guys doing? Are you helping?